I remember the exact moment everything changed. It was a Tuesday afternoon around 2 p.m. when my phone buzzed during an important client meeting. The text was from Amber, my girlfriend of 4 months. "Babe, I have amazing news," she added a party emoji, and honestly my heart warmed. We were still in that honeymoon phase where every little message felt special. I figured maybe she got a promotion or her boss finally recognized her hard work. I smiled at my phone before tucking it away to focus on my presentation. But when I finally opened those messages after my 45-minute meeting ended, 3 words changed everything. "I quit today." I never imagined those words could unravel a relationship so fast. Before I dive into this wild story, let me ask you something. Where are you watching this from? If you have ever dealt with someone who suddenly made you their entire financial backup plan without asking, go ahead and hit that like button so I know I am not alone in this madness. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel because trust me, this story has more twists than you would expect. Now let me take you back to the beginning and tell you the whole truth about the strangest 4-month relationship of my life. Everything started back in February of last year. I was 27 working as a software developer for a mid-sized tech company in Austin, Texas. Life was pretty straightforward. I had a decent apartment, a reliable car, and a job that paid around $80,000 a year. Nothing fancy, but comfortable enough that I could save money and still enjoy life without constantly checking my bank account. I met Amber at a networking event thrown by a mutual friend named Sarah. The moment I saw her across the room, I noticed her energy. She was 25, bright-eyed, and talked about her job with genuine enthusiasm. She worked as a marketing coordinator for a small startup downtown. The way she described her projects made it sound like she was building something meaningful. I liked that. I liked that she seemed driven and independent. We hit it off immediately. She laughed at my terrible jokes, and I found myself genuinely interested in what she had to say. By the end of the night, we had exchanged numbers, and 3 days later we went on our first real date. We grabbed dinner at a cozy Italian place near the river. She insisted on splitting the check. I remember her exact words: "I believe in being financially independent. I pay my own way." That impressed me. My last girlfriend had expected me to cover everything, so Amber's attitude felt refreshing. The first 3 weeks were incredible. We went to the movies, tried new restaurants, and spent weekends hiking at nearby trails. She always paid for her half. She drove a 15-year-old Honda Civic that she was proud of because she had bought it herself. She rented a small studio apartment near downtown for $1,200 a month. Everything about her screamed stability and self-sufficiency. I felt like I had finally found someone who had her life together. But around the 2nd month, things started to shift. Amber began complaining about work. At first it seemed normal. Everyone vents about their job sometimes. She would say things like, "My boss does not understand my vision," or "My coworkers are so toxic." I listened and tried to be supportive. I figured she was just having a rough patch. Then she started talking about wanting to find work that aligned with her passion. That made sense to me. A lot of people feel that way. I even encouraged her to start looking for new opportunities while keeping her current job. She nodded and said she would think about it. By the 3rd month, our relationship had deepened. Amber started staying over at my place 3 or 4 nights a week. She left clothes in my closet, toiletries in my bathroom, and her favorite coffee mug on my counter. I liked having her around. The apartment felt less empty, but I was not thinking about moving in together officially. It still felt too soon for that level of commitment. Around this time, Amber started talking about the future more seriously. One night, while we were watching a movie, she turned to me and asked, "Where do you see us in 5 years?" I gave a vague answer about being happy and seeing where life takes us. She seemed satisfied, but looking back, I realized she was testing the waters. She wanted to know if I saw long-term potential, and honestly, at that point, I did. But 5 years felt like a distant concept when we had only been together a few months. Then the financial dynamics started changing. Amber stopped offering to split the bill when we went out. The first time it happened, she said, "Oh no, I forgot my wallet at home. I will pay you back next time." I did not think much of it. Forgetting a wallet happens, but next time never came. It became a pattern. Every time we went out, I ended up paying. She would smile sweetly and say, "Thank you, babe. You are the best." I made good money, so covering dinner here and there did not strain my budget. But it was the principle that started bothering me. She also began borrowing small amounts of cash, $20 here, $50 there. "I will Venmo you tomorrow," she would promise. Tomorrow rarely arrived. After a few weeks, I stopped keeping track because it felt petty to ask for $20 back. But deep down, a small voice whispered that something was off. One evening while we were cooking dinner at my place, Amber casually asked how much I made. I deflected, saying something like, enough to live comfortably. I did not feel comfortable sharing exact numbers. We had only been together 3 months, but she pressed a little. I make $35,000 a year, she said. It is barely enough to survive in Austin. Rent alone eats up so much. She looked genuinely stressed, so I tried to be sympathetic. I told her that Austin was expensive for everyone and suggested she look for higher-paying positions. She nodded, but did not seem interested in that conversation. Looking back, all these moments were red flags. But when you are in the middle of a relationship, especially one that feels good most of the time, you rationalize things. You tell yourself that everyone has quirks. You convince yourself that you are overthinking. That is exactly what I did. Then came that Tuesday. That stupid Tuesday that flipped everything upside down. I was in a conference room presenting a project update to one of our biggest clients. My phone was on silent, face down on the table, but I felt it vibrate. Once, twice, 3 times. When the meeting finally wrapped up, I grabbed my phone and saw a string of messages from Amber. The first one was cheerful, "Babe, I have amazing news," followed by party emojis, champagne glasses, and hearts. My initial thought was positive. Maybe she got a raise. Maybe her team won an award. I opened the next message. "I quit today, finally free from that toxic place." My stomach dropped. I stared at those words, reading them over and over, hoping I had misunderstood. But no, she had quit her job. Without another position lined up. Without any discussion. Without even a heads up. My fingers moved quickly, typing out a response. "Wait, you quit without having another job lined up?" The 3 dots appeared immediately. She was typing. I could not take it anymore. Besides, I need time to find my real passion. Then came a sparkle emoji. I felt my chest tighten. I typed again, "How long can you afford rent without income?" This time the 3 dots appeared and disappeared, then appeared again, then vanished. This went on for what felt like forever. Finally she replied, "We will talk tonight." I could not focus for the rest of the afternoon. My mind raced through possibilities. Maybe she had savings I did not know about. Maybe her parents were helping her. Maybe she had a plan I just had not heard yet. I tried to calm myself down. I told myself not to jump to conclusions. We would talk tonight, and everything would make sense. But a nagging feeling in my gut told me this conversation was not going to go the way I hoped. 7 p.m. rolled around, and Amber showed up at my apartment with a bottle of wine and a pizza. She was glowing, radiating excitement like she had just won the lottery. "We are celebrating my freedom," she announced, setting everything down on my kitchen counter. I forced a smile and grabbed 2 glasses from the cabinet. We sat down on the couch and I poured the wine slowly, buying myself time to figure out how to start this conversation. So I said carefully, "What is your plan?" Amber took a sip of wine and leaned back comfortably. "I am going to take some time to explore what I really want to do. Figure out my passion. Maybe try some freelance projects. Maybe take a class. I just need space to breathe and discover myself." I nodded slowly. "That sounds nice. But how long do you think you will need?" She shrugged casually. "Maybe 3 to 6 months. I want to really figure myself out. I have been living on autopilot for too long." My throat felt dry. "And your rent, your bills, how will you cover those?" There was a pause. A long, uncomfortable pause. Amber looked at me like I had just asked the strangest question in the world. Her expression shifted from confusion to something that resembled mild annoyance. "Well," she said slowly, "I thought you could help me out for a while." The words hit me like cold water. Help out. How Amber set her wine glass down and turned her body toward me. "Just cover my expenses until I find my path." It is not that much, really. My heart was pounding now. Define not that much. She pulled out her phone, opened her notes app and started scrolling. "Let me see. Rent is $1,200 a month. Car payment is $300. Insurance is $120. Phone bill is $80. Groceries maybe $300. Plus miscellaneous stuff like gas and toiletries. So around $2,800 a month." She said it so matter-of-factly, like she was reading a grocery list. Like $2,800 was pocket change. I sat there, my brain trying to process what I had just heard. $2,800. Every single month. For 3 to 6 months. That was anywhere from $8,400 to $16,800 total. I took a deep breath. Amber, that is not going to work. Her face changed instantly. The casual, relaxed expression vanished, replaced by something sharp. What do you mean it is not going to work? I tried to stay calm. We have been dating for 4 months. That is a huge financial responsibility. I have my own bills, my own savings goals, my own future to plan for. I cannot take on almost $3,000 a month for someone else. Her eyes narrowed. But I thought you cared about me. I do care, I said quickly. But caring about someone does not mean I am financially responsible for them. Why did you not discuss this with me before quitting? Amber stood up abruptly. So you are saying you will not support your girlfriend? Support emotionally, yes, I said, standing up too. But this is different. You quit your job without a backup plan, and now you expect me to be that plan. That is not fair. Her voice rose. I did not think I needed permission from my boyfriend to make career decisions. This is not about permission, I shot back. This is about being realistic. You made a huge life decision that directly impacts your finances, and now you are expecting me to cover the consequences without even asking first. Tears started forming in her eyes. I thought we were building a life together. I felt a pang of guilt, but I pushed through it. Amber, we have been together 4 months, not 4 years. Building a life together takes time, communication, and mutual planning. This is none of those things. She wiped her eyes and changed tactics. The tears stopped almost as quickly as they started. Look, she said, her voice softer now, we basically live together already. I am here almost every night. We are basically married. I stared at her, stunned. We are not married. We have been dating 4 months. But we are in a committed relationship, she pressed. That means partnership. Partnership means helping each other. Helping is one thing, I said firmly. Being someone's sole financial support is completely different. Amber crossed her arms. You make good money. This would not even be a sacrifice for you. That statement hit me like a slap. How do you know how much I make? She hesitated, realizing her mistake. You mentioned it before. No, I did not, I said, my voice getting colder. I specifically avoided telling you. So how do you know? She looked away. I just assumed based on your apartment and car, but I was not buying it anymore. Pieces were falling into place. When did you start planning this? Amber, planning what? Quitting your job and having me support you. She looked defensive. I did not plan anything. I just could not take that job anymore. Was it before or after you found out how much I make? Silence. Long, heavy silence. And in that silence, I had my answer. I remembered now. 3 weeks ago, she had asked me point blank about my salary. When I deflected, she changed the subject quickly. But she must have found out somehow. Maybe through Sarah. Maybe she saw a pay stub I left on my desk. I did not know. But it was clear now that she had known for a while. You have been planning to quit and have me support you, have you not? I said quietly. That is not fair, she said, her voice cracking. I care about you, not your money. But she could not look me in the eye when she said it. The argument escalated from there. She accused me of not loving her enough. I accused her of financial manipulation. She said I was being selfish. I said she was being entitled. Back and forth we went, our voices getting louder, the space between us growing wider. Finally, Amber grabbed her purse. If you loved me, this would not even be a question. Love does not mean financial exploitation, I said firmly. Exploitation, she shouted. I cannot believe you just said that. She stormed toward the door. Maybe I was wrong about you. Maybe I was wrong about us, I replied. She paused at the door, her hand on the handle. Fine. I will figure it out myself. Do not call me. And then she was gone. The door slammed shut and I stood alone in my apartment. The pizza sat untouched on the table. The wine glasses still half full. The silence was deafening. I sank back onto the couch, my mind racing. Part of me felt relieved. Part of me felt confused. Part of me wondered if I had been too harsh. But another part of me, a stronger part, knew I had just dodged a bullet. I sat there for a long time replaying the conversation in my head. Had I made the right choice? Was I being selfish? Should I have at least offered to help with part of the rent? No. The answer was no. This was not about helping a partner through a rough patch. This was about someone making a unilateral decision that directly affected me without any consideration for my feelings or my finances. This was about someone expecting me to bankroll their journey of self-discovery after 4 months of dating. I thought that was the end of it. I really did. But I was wrong. The next morning I woke up to 25 text messages from Amber. They started at 6 a.m. The first few were apologetic. "I am sorry I got emotional last night." Then they shifted to nostalgic. "I miss you already." By the end, they were vaguely manipulative. "I made a mistake. I should not have assumed you would help. Can we talk?" I did not respond right away. I needed time to think. I needed perspective. So I called my best friend Marcus and told him everything. His response was immediate and blunt. "Dude, she showed you exactly who she is. Believe her. Do not go back." But Amber was not giving up. That afternoon she showed up at my office. I was walking to my car in the parking lot when I saw her leaning against her Honda. "We need to talk," she said. I agreed to meet her at a coffee shop nearby. Neutral ground. Public space. We sat down, and I waited for her to speak first. Her entire demeanor had changed. She was sweet, apologetic, vulnerable. "I overreacted last night," she said softly. "I was scared and overwhelmed, and I took it out on you. That was wrong." I nodded but said nothing. "I do not need you to pay for everything," she continued. I realized that was too much to ask. I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe she had actually reflected and understood. "So what are you saying?" I asked. She reached across the table and touched my hand. "Maybe you could just help with rent. Just the $1,200. I can manage the rest with credit cards for a few months." And there it was. She had not changed her mind. She had just adjusted her ask. I pulled my hand back. "That is still $1,200 a month, Amber. And using credit cards means you will end up in debt." "But it would give me breathing room to find the right job," she pleaded. I looked at her directly. "Amber, my answer is no. Not $1,200. Not $600. Not anything. I am not going to be your financial plan." Her mask slipped. The sweetness vanished. "You are being selfish." "Maybe," I said calmly, "but it is my money and my choice." "After everything we have been through," she said, her voice rising. "We have been together 4 months, I reminded her. Not 4 years. Not a lifetime. 4 months. She stared at me, realizing her manipulation tactics were not working anymore. She stood up abruptly. "You are going to regret this." "Maybe," I said again, "but I doubt it." She left without another word. I sat there for a few more minutes, finishing my coffee, feeling strangely calm. I had stood my ground. I had not wavered, and it felt right. That evening I got a message from Sarah, the friend who had introduced us. "Hey, I heard you, and Amber broke up. I need to tell you something." My stomach tightened. "What is it?" Sarah explained that Amber had dated another guy in their friend group about a year ago. Same pattern. They dated for a few months. She quit her job, expected him to support her. He paid her rent for 3 months before realizing what was happening and ending things. Sarah had not told me before because she did not realize Amber was doing it again until other mutual friends mentioned it yesterday. I sat there staring at my phone pieces clicking into place. This was not impulsive. This was not a one-time mistake. This was a pattern, a strategy. Amber had done this before. She would date someone, assess their financial situation, quit her job, and expect them to carry her. When it did not work out, she moved on to the next person. I went back through our entire relationship in my mind. The way she had asked about my income. The way she stopped paying for anything. The way she slowly integrated herself into my apartment. The way she talked about us being basically married after just 4 months. It was all calculated. Every step had been deliberate. I felt sick, but I also felt validated. I had not been paranoid. I had not been selfish. I had been protecting myself from someone who saw me as a wallet, not a partner. I blocked Amber's number. I blocked her on all social media. I changed the door code to my apartment since she had the old one. I sent her a brief email. "Our relationship is over. Please do not contact me again. I wish you well." Then I deleted the draft from my sent folder and moved on. 3 days later, I received a long email from Amber. She apologized profusely, said she realized she had been wrong, promised she would find a job, immediately begged for another chance. I did not respond. She tried calling from different numbers. I did not pick up. She messaged me on LinkedIn. I did not open it. Finally, she reached out to Sarah, asking her to be a mediator. Sarah asked me if I wanted to reconsider. I said no, firmly and finally. A week later, I noticed Amber had posted something on social media. She did not name me, but it was obvious. Some men pretend to care but abandon you the moment you need them most. Her friends commented with support. You deserve better. Men are trash. I wanted to defend myself. I wanted to tell my side of the story, but I did not. Marcus had advised me not to engage. The truth will come out, eventually, he said. So I muted all our mutual friends who might report back to her and focused on moving forward. 2 weeks after that, Sarah sent me an update. Amber had found a new boyfriend, someone she met on a dating app. They were already talking about moving in together. I laughed when I read that message. I guess she found her new financial plan, I told Sarah. Sarah replied, you dodged a bullet. I could not agree more. A few months have passed since that whole disaster, and I have had time to really think about what happened. Looking back, the red flags were there from early on. I just did not want to see them. I wanted to believe in the relationship. I wanted to trust that Amber was genuine. But the truth is, she showed me who she was through her actions, and I chose to ignore it for a while. The way she went from proudly paying her own way to never offering to split a bill. The way she asked about my income and then quit her job weeks later. The way she escalated our relationship from casual dating to basically married in the span of 4 months. These were not coincidences. They were steps in a plan. What really gets me is the manipulation tactics she used. The crying, the guilt-tripping, the gaslighting. If you loved me, this would not be an issue. We are basically married. You are being selfish. These phrases were designed to make me question my own judgment, to make me feel like I was the bad guy for not wanting to bankroll her self-discovery journey. But I held firm. I trusted my gut, and that made all the difference. The first week after our breakup was hard. I will admit, I felt conflicted. Part of me felt relieved that I had ended things. Part of me felt guilty, wondering if I should have given her a chance, or at least helped with part of the rent. Every time that thought crept in, I reminded myself of the number. $2,800 a month, for 3 to 6 months, without asking, without planning, just expecting. I also remembered the way she had looked at me when I said no, not hurt, not disappointed, but angry, like I had broken some unspoken contract, like I owed her something just because we were dating. That look told me everything I needed to know. She did not see me as a partner. She saw me as a solution to her financial problems, so I focused on moving forward. I threw myself into work, hit the gym more regularly, spent time with friends I had neglected. I even upgraded my apartment, bought some new furniture, invested in a better sound system. These were things I had put off before. Ironically, by not supporting Amber, I was able to support myself better. I also went to therapy for a few sessions. I wanted to process what had happened and make sure I had not missed any lessons. My therapist validated everything I felt. You set a boundary and held it, she said. That is not selfish. That is self-respect. Hearing that from a professional helped solidify my decision. I had done the right thing. Through this whole experience, I learned several crucial lessons. First, actions speak louder than words. Amber talked about being independent, but her actions showed the opposite. She claimed to care about me, but her behavior suggested she cared more about what I could provide. Second, time matters in relationships. 4 months is not long enough to make the kind of financial commitments she expected. Real partnership is built over time with trust, communication, and mutual respect. Amber wanted to skip all of that and jump straight to me being her provider. Third, and maybe most importantly, financial compatibility matters. It is not just about how much money someone makes. It is about their attitude toward money, their planning, their responsibility. Someone who quits a job without any backup plan and expects their partner of 4 months to catch them financially is showing a fundamental lack of responsibility and respect. I also learned about self-respect. Saying no does not make you selfish. Protecting your boundaries is not mean. It is healthy. You can care about someone deeply and still refuse to be their financial safety net, especially when they made decisions without consulting you. Guilt trips only work if you let them. If someone tries to make you feel bad for not sacrificing your financial stability for their impulsive choices, that is, manipulation, not love. True love, real partnership is built on mutual respect. It is built on open communication. It is built on both people contributing and supporting each other in ways that feel balanced and fair. It is not built on one person expecting the other to fund their lifestyle while they find themselves. That is not partnership. That is dependency with a romantic label attached. If I could go back and talk to myself on that Tuesday afternoon when I first got Amber's text, I would tell myself not to doubt. I would tell myself to trust that gut feeling that something was off. I would tell myself that standing up for my boundaries was not going to make me the bad guy, no matter how much Amber tried to spin it that way. I would also tell myself that the right person will never make you feel guilty for having boundaries. The right person will respect your financial independence as much as you respect theirs. The right person will not see you as an ATM or a backup plan. They will see you as an equal partner. I do not regret my decision, not for a second. Could someone else look at this situation and think I was the heartless guy who abandoned his girlfriend when she needed help? Maybe. But I know the truth. I did not abandon anyone. I refused to let someone turn me into their financial plan without my consent. And if you are reading this or watching this and you are in a similar situation, do not be afraid to say no. Your money, your choice, your boundaries. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is walk away. And that is not selfish. That is not cruel. That is self-respect. That is recognizing your worth and refusing to let someone take advantage of you under the guise of love or commitment. So here I am several months later, living in my upgraded apartment, financially stable, emotionally healthier, and a lot wiser about what I want in a relationship. I am not bitter. I am not angry. I am just more careful. I know what red flags to look for now. I know what questions to ask. And I know that the right person will never make me choose between my financial security and their affection. Have you ever found yourself wondering if you are supporting a partner or being exploited? The line between those two things can be thinner than you think. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is draw that line clearly and stand behind it even when someone you care about is on the other side trying to erase it. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever been in a situation where someone expected you to financially support them without asking first? How did you handle it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and share this video with anyone who might need to hear it. And if you have not already, subscribe to the channel for more real-life stories about relationships, boundaries, and learning to stand up for yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, knowing your worth is not selfish, it is essential. Take care of yourself out there, and I will see you in the next one.